to get started and give you some time back today. Good morning to everyone. It's it's very exciting to be here at my first official fireside chat. This is the August fireside chat. Thank you. Thank you. This has been a wonderful week. I feel like I began my week with the small group sessions where we had an outstanding turnout for all four of the small group sessions. It was a really wonderful opportunity for me to hear from residents about what's on your mind, what you care most about, and areas that we need to think about, for opportunities for improvement. And then there was wonderful feedback about what we are doing well. So I want to thank everyone who came out to those small group sessions. It's something that I know I'm going to be looking forward to every single quarter. Today we have a just wonderful schedule of information for everyone. So I just want to go through the agenda really quickly. We have our new staff introductions, which I know everyone enjoys. We're going to talk about the West Wing relocation and some budget updates. We have our wellness updates, which is going to be pretty exciting. Health updates. We've got a lot going on as we are starting to enter into our fall season. We're going to talk about Wi-Fi, food services, philanthropy, an update from the summer picnic, which we know we have coming up. And then I'll close us out with some bright spots. So I'm going to turn it over right now to talk about our new staff introductions.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Looking outside today, it doesn't look like the sun's coming, but it's coming. It's just a little late. It's a little late. But nice to see your faces. So I'll get some temporary sunshine in here today. Just seeing you all. I'm pretty sure you're like, what has she been doing all week? Where's the new hires? So here they go. All right. So when it comes to the resident events, the employee events, we finally got us some help, okay, to come and help us out. We have Nick Lanso. Nick, are you in here? Hey, Nick. Nick is our audiovisual production specialist. Ooh, that's a long title. But he's here to help us, okay? So all the events that we have, the guest speakers, the panel discussions that happen all here in Anderson Hall and sometimes in other areas, we got the help, okay? We got the support to make sure that things run smoothly. So welcome aboard, Nick. And then we have Duck, who just came to us on Tuesday and is here to help us out in the food services as a dishwasher. And then we have Jordan, who's going to be coming to us as a server. I have a little secret to tell you all about Jordan, okay? So when you see him, you tell him hello. All right? Jordan is the son of Dennis, who works in facilities. See, they look alike. So when you see him, you tell him hello, welcome. All right? And then we have Miss Naima. She just onboarded with us yesterday. And I didn't learn until halfway through our orientation session together that she used to work here before. So we have her coming back to us. And so we're happy to have her. She was a really nice person to talk with. I learned she's a mom of 3. So that means she has patience. And so we need that. We need that. And so she's coming to us to help us out in assisted living. And we're happy to have her. All right. I think this is the 3rd fireside chat where I've been telling you all about the milestone anniversaries that go on here at Horizon House. Figured it's nice to know like who's been here and what's their years of service. And so, as you know, the milestones are every 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20. I could go on, but we know we get the math. And so I see her in the back because I was standing right next to her. So I'm just going to ask Miss Ruth Ann to give us a wave. Miss Ruth Ann has been with us for going on 10 years. September 1st will be 10 years for her. And so we are so appreciative to her for the work she does in the philanthropy department and all that she does for her Rising House over the years. You probably still see her badge and it's bronze because it's not the first yet, but she'll get her silver badge come the first. And so congratulations on your years of service, ma'am. And then Miss Jenny. We all know her. She is our transportation driver. She has been here for 15 years. That is amazing. I'll tell you, I've only had the pleasure to meet her twice. And every time she gives me a chuckle because she says something really funny. She's very funny and I like her. And so when we do see her, we're going to give her a big congratulations and tell her thank you for all the trips she takes to the grocery store, to the events. I'm not sure where else you all go. I'm going to have to learn that, but we do appreciate her for her years of service. So when you see her, you tell her congratulations as well. Ooh, I just learned something new. So now I'm going to have to get with her. Yep, because I need art. All right. Well, thank you for allowing me to have your time today. Hope I didn't bore you too much. And now we have Miss Christie coming.
I don't get as fun as topics as Celerina gets. So 2 topics today. Just an update on the West Wing relocation process and how that's going, and then a little bit about our upcoming budget work that we're working on. So we kicked off the West Wing relocation about 5 months ago, and so far we have 14 households who have either moved or have committed to either an apartment in IL or in assisted living. So that's great progress. That's about 1/3 of the 41 that we needed to move. Our goal was 12 to 15 in a given year, so we're right on track. We are now out of inventory of apartments. We had a lot of vacant apartments. Those apartments have now been committed to with external and internal moves. And so now we're going to see that pace of relocation slow down a bit because now we wait for apartments to become available. So it's going to slow down, but we made great progress right out of the gate. And it gives us plenty of time. We've got through mid 2025 to get everybody relocated. And from what we've done so far, that should be very doable. So that is looking good here. We've also heard some very good feedback from folks who have gone through the process, particularly about our partner moving station, who is helping folks with the relocating things you need to do, the organizing, the packing, and all of that. So good feedback from the support that they're getting. And I hope everybody who's gone through that is agreeing with that. Okay, and then on to budget. So it's not really related to the budget specifically, but just to give you a flavor of some of the things that we are dealing with kind of behind the scenes that you don't normally see. We are starting into the 2024 budget, just into planning right now. But one of the things I wanted to make you aware of is we just went through our insurance renewal. It comes up July 1st, so we went through that. The insurance industry is struggling right now. If you are not aware, there has been a lot of losses recently. You can imagine all the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the windstorms, the wildfires, all of that is creating a lot of loss for insurance companies right now. And unfortunately, we all have to share in the cost of that. So our insurance premiums for our property insurance went up 40% this year. That is about $200,000. And we were the lucky ones because we do not have any claims. There are organizations out here, similar type like us, senior living, whose premiums went up 75%. So these are very, very significant numbers. We don't gain anything from it. We keep our same coverage. It's just a higher cost of doing business. So you can probably imagine why I'm sharing this with you today. There's another thing that we are experiencing. Washington State implemented the Climate Control Act. It went into effect January 1, and it's a tax on utilities who don't use green energy. Now, Horizon House uses steam for a lot of our energy needs, which is a green source of energy. However, the steam is not created from green sources. Therefore, the steam provider gets taxed this new tax for producing that energy. And then they pass that cost on to us. Now, this cost isn't in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, but it is in the tens of thousands of dollars. So between the cost of that, the insurance premium increase, that equals about 1% of our revenue every year. So when we talk about our net operating margin, 1% of it just went to property tax or property insurance and to that clean energy tax. So impactful for us overall. Again, I think you see where this is heading. You know, the days of a 3.5%, 4% rate increase, that is going to get more and more challenging for us to do. We don't know what the rate increase is going to be yet, but we have to look at these numbers and we're going to have to look at them hard. We do what we can internally, of course, to do our best on the expense side so that we don't have to increase as much for you. But these are two pieces that we don't have any control over. One third item I would like to bring up, we're also considering this for the 2024 budget. We're looking at adding a car share program. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a Zip car now parked outside on 9th Street for anybody who is interested in using car share. But we're looking at having a program on site where we'd have an electric vehicle in our own garage that would be available for residents to use. I would like to, just by a show of hands, to see how many of you in the room would be interested in using a car share program. All right, that's good. That's a good response. I appreciate that. So we're going to be, if the budgeting all works out, the cost will be shared by Horizon House and by the resident, whoever uses it, of course, not for those who don't choose to use it. But, parking is going to become more and more of an issue. And so if we can get folks to start using car share instead of feeling like they have to own their own vehicle, that would be a big win for us and the environment, right? So, okay, well, we will look into that some more. That is what I have for today. And now we'll bring up Andrew.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, Christy. Before we get going, Christy forgot one thing, though. There's also a fourth part of the budget. Lori and I were talking about this. We're looking to buy me a Tesla with your guys's. There also is my wedding coming up in about a year, so thank you guys. Yes, thank you. No, if I'll find it somewhere else, I guess. I'll ask my parents. Okay, let's see if I can work this thing. So, as you can see, I got just a couple quick little updates for everyone, and let's go through them. So first one, if you've noticed, I'm in a new spot. This has been since, oh my gosh, July, early July, maybe June. So if you remember where my old office was, that is now a wall with a big, huge table there. And on the other side, it's now Brian Holt's office. My office is now, if you know where the parallel bars are, you go all the way around the corner. I'm hiding in there. The door's open, so I'm not hiding too much, but you can come say hi whenever you want to. Other than that, I do want to talk about a little bit of safety around the gym. This can be and is very, very important, especially with a lot of the new pieces of equipment that are coming in, not just this year, but the years coming. It's important that we know the the safety around them, right? So just a couple quick, easy things. Before you use the gym equipment, make sure if you do have any questions or any concerns about it, just come ask us. We know how to work with it. We're more than happy to take you through an orientation of any of the fitness equipment so that you feel comfortable before using it. Along with that, again, if it's been a while, please just do an orientation with us. It's very vital to not only your safety, our safety, but also the equipment's longevity as well. Also, especially as it pertains to the treadmills, make sure, I've been kind of eyeing a lot of you guys. We don't love to wear the safety pins, the big red safety pins. I've been eyeing you. I don't see a whole lot of the safety pin uses. Please make sure you use them. They're so important to keeping you safe. If you're getting too far back from the treadmill, it's going to stop so that you don't go falling off with it. Along with that, on every single piece of the fitness equipment in the gym, there's warning labels and directions on how to use the gym equipment. So please read them. And again, just come to us if you really need to. Also make sure, I see a lot of the times with some of the equipment, we're trying to change the way as we're using the equipment. That's going to be a little hard. If you try to do that, there's a chance you may pinch yourself. So make sure your appendages are away from the weights before you're using them. And then a couple other side notes. If you're feeling unwell or starting to get faint, please stop. That can happen, especially with any of the cardio equipment, but it's something you don't think of. You're going, and all of a sudden, oh, I'm feeling a little dizzy. And you think it's just going to pass and you just keep trying to push through. Don't. And then again, if you do have any questions at all, just come ask us. We're open. We don't bite too hard. And then finally, one final thing, well, 2.5 final things in September. So next week, you can expect we're going to have a new class schedule. Nothing crazy. We're just kind of restarting some classes, maybe revamping some other classes. But then how the schedule looks is going to be a little different. We've been talking a whole lot about the Beam Center, Balance Exercise and Mobility Center, and what that means, and how we're really going to integrate it into Horizon House to help us with our balance and mobility. So in the schedule, there's going to be a section that pertains to just balance, exercise, and mobility, and the classes that really help with that. So look for that. Along with that, probably mid-September, we're going to revamp all of the 370 classes that are being shown on the TV. Don't worry, the ones that are currently on the TV will be able to be found on HH Connect in the YouTube channel still. We just want to kind of revamp and put some new classes out there. And then if you remember the fitness assessments, we did them, oh my gosh, 6 months ago already. They're coming back in November. So just a quick refresher, fitness assessments is an overall fitness assessment of how you are doing at that moment. It's a good place if you haven't done it before, just to come and do it, just to get a starting range of where you're at and maybe things you can work on. But then if you did do it 6 months ago, this is a great time to come back and see if you've had any fitness gains or losses and why that might be, and then ways we can help with it. Okay, final one, I promise, then I'll get out of here. We do have 2 new treadmills. They are I know they look high tech, I promise they're not. They're very simple to use. With that being said, if you are scared to use them, just again, come talk to us and we're more than happy to take you through them. Some of the highlights of them is the belt on it is much more responsive, meaning there's more play to it, more bounce, making it more like you're walking outside. A lot of these older treadmills that we have had and have used in the past, there's no give to it and it can get really bad on your knees. This has much more give to it and feels much more responsive. I remember Beth's first time running on it. She was like, whoa, this is so crazy. She was almost turning around. I'm like, Beth, please don't. Along with that, there's much longer arms. Some of our treadmills have had a little shorter arms. These ones just have longer arms so that all the way up and down you have safety. Another side note, only if you're working with me individually, there is a program where I can make it go backwards too. But you don't get to do that alone. Other than that, it's very simple to use, easy push button. And please come use them. We don't bite. You know where we are. Come have fun with us. I think that's it for me. I'm going to shoot it off to Lori. Thank you guys so much. Have a good Friday.
Thank you, Andrew. A comment about Beth is also because she's a newly married bride and she's still in the honeymoon phase. Good morning. It's good to see all of you. Just want to quickly highlight again some of the updates and things you can be doing to try to protect yourselves and others in the community. I spoke more in detail at the recent Residents Council meeting, so I will limit the remarks today, but just hit some high points. Just want to remind everyone again that HH Connect is your primary source of information on health updates, including the COVID case count. I can tell you that as of this moment, we have one active independent living staff member case, and we have 4 active independent living cases. A couple are really close to the end of their recovery. So we're in that period of time where we get 1 or 2 on, they recover, and then we have another one that pops up. So we're continuing to monitor that. Do be aware that for HH Connect, sometimes it may be a day before it's updated, just with the communications team also managing a lot of other balls. Reminder that if you test positive for COVID, please be sure to notify me by email or by voicemail. And that is so that I can help talk you through your next steps and prepare you for isolation accommodations. We want to make sure you have good support when you need to be in isolation during those few days, anywhere from 5 to possibly up to 10 days of isolation, depending on your course. Part of the conversation when you test positive for COVID is to identify when you begin symptoms so that we can plot out your isolation period, which always begins from the date of your symptom onset. And we can also talk about during your infectious window, which is 48 hours prior to the beginning of symptoms, who were you in close contact with? From there, we do contact tracing, in which those close contacts within Horizon House are notified for their next steps following an exposure. The reason why that's so critical is so we can try to prevent intra-community transmission. The whole goal is to get a lid on any cases so we can prevent more spread. And we're ultimately trying to stay away from having to scale back programs or cancel or scale back dining services. We want to keep things going. We know that's important. So the more proactive we can be in managing the active cases, getting a hold of close contacts so that they can get a mask, wear them for 10 days, test on day 6, that's hopefully going to help stop some spread. A reminder also, home test kits. We have been announcing regularly throughout the pandemic about all of the free test kits that were available to us through federal programs, state programs, that all ended in May with the sunsetting of public health emergency. But we still want everyone to have home test kits, including staff. They're readily available at drugstores, grocery stores, Amazon. Some insurances cover them, some not necessarily. My strong recommendation for a mindset is if your insurance happens to not cover, and I understand Medicare does, I know many of you have other insurances aside from Medicare, but if your insurance does not cover home test kits, have the mindset of that test kit is just like I would have a box of Band-Aids in my cupboard, just like I would have a tube of Neosporin, or perhaps Tylenol or ibuprofen. It's one of those necessities to have in your medicine cabinet because you never know when you may get that notification of an exposure. I will share that of the cases we've had since mid-September, the themes I'm seeing or the patterns: travel, coming back with symptoms following travel. I'm also hearing of exposures at outside family gatherings. Weddings is a big wedding season right now. Is family reunions, is before college kids go off. And so that is another theme. And then the third bucket is unknown.
not uncommon at all to really not understand or know where you may have had that exposure. So we work with the information that we have. And our goal is to get you recovered out of isolation as soon as it's safe and prevent spread. And with that, please, 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 if you're feeling unwell at all, even if you think it's just a cold, stay home. It's really important because we are seeing the COVID cases. Many started with what they thought were just colds, and many do start with colds that later convert to a positive test result. That's not to say every cold is COVID, but many COVID cases start with cold-like symptoms, and many do not show a positive test result sometimes until 3 to 6 days after beginning active symptoms. That's why it's important when you start to feel those symptoms, hunker down because it could be COVID. We just want to keep everyone safe. And finally, on some upcoming vaccine events. We have 2 events scheduled with Bartels again. They will be on site in the chapel, this space right here, on both September 20th and October 27th. We are going to be offering for sure the primary reason for these clinics is the annual influenza vaccine. However, you're hearing a lot in the media about the anticipated rollout of the updated booster for COVID, as well as an upcoming RSV vaccine. I've been in contact with Bartels to understand if possibly both the COVID booster and RSV vaccine might be available for those 2 clinics, and they are going to work hard to make them available for both of those clinics. Possibility the RSV vaccine may not yet be available by September 20th, because those are slower right now and coming in to all of the clinics and pharmacies. But I will certainly keep you posted, and the alert notices and all the communication channels will be sure to announce closer to those dates what will be available. And like in the past, certainly as it gets closer, we'll announce when appointments can begin to be scheduled with the reception. And we will have the consent forms in the mailroom closer to those clinic dates. And I did also learn from Bartels that if they are able to offer COVID booster and or the RSV vaccine as well, that the same consent form can be used for all vaccines that you might receive. So that will make it easier. I'm waiting for more guidance. The pharmacist I spoke with at Bartels did share that all 3 could be administered at once. I'm reading some different literature that suggests you might want to space the RSV vaccine out separately. So I'm not sure that there is a firm determination yet as to what might be the best scenario for the highest effectiveness. So stay tuned for that. If you are going to be having any conversations with your own personal pharmacist or a provider in the next few weeks, I would encourage you to have a conversation with them about, should I get all? Should I space them out? What would be best for me? And finally, the Kaiser. That's been a bugaboo. I have had several communications out to Kaiser with no response. I finally got a response with my 4th attempt on Wednesday, and I have a name now. So I'm going to keep that name on speed dial. And they have to do checking with whomever else within the Kaiser large corporation, and are supposed to get back to me within about 10 business days, because Bartels, while they historically, when coming on site, have been able to administer to those of you with Kaiser and have that covered, Bartels is saying they are now being told Kaiser may not cover the vaccines they administer, and that Kaiser beneficiaries must go to a Kaiser clinic. I did receive a call from one of you yesterday who did learn that some of the Bartel sites are covering Kaiser beneficiaries, but not all. The pattern I saw based on what this resident reported was the one that many of you I know go to on Borison and Madison does not seem to be one that will cover Kaiser. My suspicion is because it's quite close to the Kaiser clinic on Capitol Hill. So that remains to be the question, because the vaccinators are coming from the Bartels on Madison and Bourne. That is typically where they come from and where they have the resource to support us here. So stay tuned. I'm going to be pushing hard for them to make some consideration. And the other alternative I've suggested, if they won't cover, is will they send a Kaiser vaccinator? Because I want to make sure, especially for those of you who may have some mobility challenge and an assisted living, that we can get you those important vaccines. And as usual, you want to make sure at the time of your appointment that you bring your insurance card and completed consent forms. We'll make it fun days, as we always do. Any questions before I turn it over? Sam. We have a microphone. Sam, we have a microphone coming.
What is the life expectancy, or not life expectancy, but the duration of the tests, of the home series that we got originally, and they have no date. Then we have another series that has some have dates and some kind have dates and the other kind doesn't. How do we know that we're keeping home kits that are useful?
Great question. Expiration dates on home test kits. There is on HH Connect a link for you to check to see if the test kits you have an extended expiration date, and many do. And the, of course, newer test kits coming out have updated expiration dates to be out into the future. Thank you so much for those of you who have dropped off donated test kits. If it is expired, we can't use them. And so please don't drop them off if they are expired. I have received some expired ones and I so appreciate the gesture, but we want to have functional working test kits. So do check HH Connect for that. Okay, be aware that influenza season is coming. And so it is going to be I think, realistically a more challenging season because masks have been off largely for several months. We don't have as much immunity to influenza as we've had over the last few years being in mask. And so we're going to have kind of a perfect storm, as is expected, between influenza, maybe some RSV, and of course, ongoing COVID cases. So I really want to put in the plug for hand washing, and staying home when you don't feel well. All right, thank you. Up, one more, Beth, we're going to bring you a microphone.
What is RSV?
Respiratory, and I always struggle with the second word, syncytial virus. I know I'm not pronouncing the second word correctly. It's a respiratory condition. And I also want to mention, speaking of RSV, Barry Eben has done a terrific job of lining up a presenter who's going to be coming in September to speak about the different respiratory illnesses. And I specifically have asked for the presenter to really talk about the differences between RSV, influenza, and COVID, because there is some overlap, but then there are some distinguishing factors between all three. All right, thank you so much. Be healthy, be well, be safe. And next up is going to be Brian.
Good morning. So I want to provide a little update on where we are with the Wi-Fi project that we've been working on, transitioning the Horizon residents over to the new Wi-Fi personal network service. So all the new credentials have been distributed to everyone who has an active account with active devices on our existing Horizon residence system. So those were all delivered into your cubbies. We ran into a couple issues with the early versions, the font we were using with the password. The ones and L's and and I's looked too similar, so we reprinted those out. If you need a new version, we can change the font so it's clearer for you. So just give us a call at 2703 and we can get a new version of that for you if you need that. We've been running help desk sessions every day at 10 and 2. Javier back there has been working with people a lot. And then we have a volunteer, Morris, who is a grandson of one of our residents here who has been in the afternoons and has been working with people. And they've been there to answer questions. They've had a good steady flow of people. But one of the things we found is that it's been pretty easy for most people to transition. They've able to do it themselves without really much help from us. It's a much simpler process than we've had in the past. We do book individual appointments. There are always devices that are more complicated to deal with, like a smart TV. Some of the personal Amazon devices require an app. So it's not as straightforward a process, and we're really happy to help you with those and get those connected. So it's been pretty easy, but we did make one discovery that I want to talk about. Whenever you deal with technology, there's always a gotcha. And we came up with an interesting gotcha on this one. So we've discovered that a lot of mobile devices randomly are having odd connection issues. They stay connected to Wi-Fi, but for some reason, when you're walking around, you connect with a different access point that's providing your connection, and suddenly you can't get to the internet, but you're still connected, and everything looks good, except it's not. So through testing, we've found out, well, if you turn the Wi-Fi off and back on, it restores it, refreshes it, and things work, but it's not how it's supposed to work, and that would be an annoying thing to do. So we've opened a ticket with Cisco to investigate this, which they've determined is a bug in their software, and they have escalated it. We have 2 escalation engineers working to put in a solution to this. I don't have an update on time from them. I'm expecting something this morning, and I was hoping to get an email before I got up here, but they didn't send it yet. But as soon as we know more, we'll let you know what's going on with that. If this is happening to you a lot, you can always connect back to Horizon Residence for the time being, and we'll let you know when Cisco has the problem fixed. But we are working with them. They have a lot of resources on this, and we're getting regular updates from them. So we apologize for the inconvenience if it is knocking you off the network, but please know we're working on it, and we're trying to make it work as good as it can possibly work. All right, that's my update, and next would be Jeff with food service.
Thanks, Brian. All right, how's everybody doing? Let's see here. All right, I just wanted to provide some updates to food services, some changes that'll be coming up in the next couple months or a couple weeks, couple months sort of thing. And we'll start with the action station. So we've had the action station open for a few months now. We've been evaluating kind of how that's been going, and we're going to be making a little bit of tweaks to the format and how the type of items we're serving and such. So, think of a little bit more ready to serve items, new items like a baked potato bar, nacho station, still some of the favorite items like a flatbread, but we're really looking at improving the service in there and the speed of. So look for some new items coming there and just a little bit different look on how the action station is going to be looking. Secondly, we'll be looking at brunch. So due to low participation we've been experiencing with the brunches over the last 6-7 months since we've reopened it coming out of the pandemic and everything, we just had low participation. So what we've decided to do is we're going to transition to lunch on the weekends. So the hours will be Monday, 7 days a week, 12 o'clock to 1:30 for lunch. And we will try doing a really nice big buffet brunch once a month that kind of, encapsulates everything that we do good at brunch. And buffets are really popular when we do them for the holidays and stuff. We kind of take it up an extra notch, and so that's what we're going to be looking at doing with that. We'll be looking at enhancing some of the breakfast items in the bistro on the weekends too, because we know that'll be kind of going away. So look for some, maybe croissant breakfast sandwiches, breakfast burritos, some different items that will be ready to purchase and enjoy out of the bistro. As always, nothing set in stone. We're always evaluating, looking at how things are going, how we can improve, how we can do better, and so we'll be continuing to do that. So we'll see how this goes, and we'll move forward with that. The last one is kind of a shuffling of management team here. So the catering demand has remained pretty low coming out of the pandemic. Because of that, we've decided to shuffle some of our management around and create a new supervisor role, and realize there's not the need for the catering manager at this point. That position has been offered to Janine, and she's decided to move on from Horizon House. Does say effective tomorrow, the 26th. We discussing with her yesterday. Yesterday ended up being her last day with us here at Horizon House. So very, very sad about that. We're supporting her in her endeavors moving forward. She's been out in the job force looking for new jobs. Steve and I are supporting her with that 100%. We understand and support her decision not to stay on as the supervisor role. But that's kind of where we're at with that. And Oliver will be taking point of contact on catering once again, as he was in the past. So, things in the catering world will remain great, and Oliver is going to do a fantastic job with that. And, things will be good for us and dining services. So, if any questions, please reach out to me on a personal level and we can talk through that, and we'll be moving forward. So thank you very much. And next up is Karen and Patty for philanthropy updates.
Okay, so I'm first up. Welcome again to the Karen and Patty show. Let's see. Here we go. We'd like to tell you that we have received over $410,000 in gift and pledges. And thank you so very much. Now, it's open year round, so you can still contribute. We're trying to get to $460,000. And don't forget, your gift enrollment supports three things, right? Residence assistance for those people who have, through no fault of their own, run out of money. Staff scholarships, and we've talked about that. And also enrichment grants. And today we'll say a little bit more about enrichment grants. And don't forget, it runs through the calendar year.
The enrichment grants are something we don't talk about often, but they do matter a great deal here at Horizon House. The endowment funds them, and they are about $50,000 is donated or given to projects around Horizon House every year. Twice a year grants are accepted, and that's coming up soon. So we want to talk about it today. One of the things that is a question people have is how on earth is it decided which projects get grants? Well, it's done by a committee of residents. Usually spots open up in January, and the board's philanthropy committee chooses among the applicants. So be looking, if you'd like to serve on this committee, be looking for a notice in the alert here, and you may be selected to be a participant. Random awards are sometimes quite small, as was the case in the celebrated ukulele band's new hats and T-shirts. But let's have the next slide. Yeah. But the more significant ones are really spectacular, and they're very much determined by a staff member who sees something or a residence council committee who realizes that they need something that's simply not in anybody's budget. So we look forward very much to having more of you, all of you who are interested, think about projects and submit them for us.
You may ask, but I do want to submit one. How do I do that? Well, the Enrichment Grant Awareness Week is coming up from September the 4th through the 8th. And there will be those familiar pink bows on past enrichment grants. But you want to write one. Well, the grant writing drop-in workshop is going to be Tuesday, September the 5th from 2 to 4 in the Robert Durham room. So go there and find out more about it. The deadline for the grants in this fall is Monday, September the 11th. And when in doubt, Call or email Ruth Ann in philanthropy. She's great and she will give you all the help that you need.
So we say it every time, and we're going to say it again. Whether your gift is large or small, it matters. Thank you very much.
And now for the summer picnic update.
Thank you, Patty. All right. I want hands from everybody who already knew that the picnic is the 7th of September. Well, that's pretty good. That's about everybody that has signed up. How many of you knew that this coming Sunday is the deadline for signing up? Okay, that's true. It is this coming Sunday. All right, I have some details to share about the picnic. Thank you. How many knew that it's a luau? The picnic is a luau. Well, you know, the luaus means it's not a normal picnic. It's a luau, which means that we're going to have special food. We're going to, and it starts, the sign up, go down there, you can start at 11 o'clock. That's when we're going to start the actual sign up. Then at 12, we're going to serve the food. Okay? And it goes until 2 o'clock. You're going to see all kinds of reminders. You're going to see clothing. You're going to wear your Hawaiian shirts. You're going to wear your muumuus, right? Okay, all right. And the music is going to be fitting a luau. How many know the musicians here in? You do. Okay, a couple of you do. The rest of you, you're going to get exposed to 3 different groups that are going to present music for this luau. Okay. And the last thing, this is a chart of the picnic area. It's going to be on the D level. It's going to be outside, obviously. And it is, you all have to fit into one of these chairs or tables. There were signups available for 6 people if you have friends, 6 friends, or 8, but there's no longer any 8, so it's filling up fast. So anyway, sign up by this Sunday, the last day. If you're beyond Sunday, you're out of luck. And you can sign up for 6 or no longer 8 or singles. Okay? So have I left anything out? Oh, how much does it cost? Well, that's something we ought to tell you about. It only costs $25. And how many of you knew that these things are being worn like this? And most of them are on the side behind their ear because they're all women. I'm the only man on the committee. So I wear mine up here because I have more hair up there. But anyway, it's a reminder of the picnic. And as a closing, I'd like to invite up again, Erica. And you're going to be our walking advertisement.
Thank you, Norm. All right, well, I am going to close us out with a few more things. As you know, change is inevitable and growth is optional. So we do have some office relocations. We did send out a memo. I hope that everyone received it. We do have some movement going on at Horizon House due to this growth, as well as due to some of the wonderful projects that all of you have been waiting on. It's a bit of a Rubik's Cube. We have to move one piece to fix another. And so there is some changing. And if anybody here has been down to the B1 level near the wellness area and gym, you might see that we have a new and improved sales center. It is absolutely beautiful. And so this sales center is meant to accommodate the growth. We do have some new sales staff as well as a consultant from Solutions Advisor Group who will be here almost every week. And you will see this person. She does have a Horizon House badge because she's going to be with us for several years. Her name is Krista DeGeorge. So you'll be seeing her. She's a part of the new sales team. And the HR offices have moved to where the old sales center was. For those of you who do not know where that is, when you come through the front door of Horizon House, to your right of the reception desk is where the new HR offices are. And with that, marketing and communication is still within the same wing. However, Emily's office has moved. Risa, who we all see in the back, who's making this event beautiful, she will be taking over Emily's space. And then Emily will be moving a little bit closer to Joan. We are also, as we announced, adding a resident experience director, and that person will also be within that suite. And so, all of this is really meant to enhance events and programs. We will have both Nick and Risa really focused on, elevating our events and programs. We're going to have resident experience working within all of our departments, making sure that we are really focused on providing the best outcomes for residents, as well as helping staff, really understand the focus here, that we are here to serve residents. We're here to work well together to make that happen. So those are some of our changes that we have now. I will tell you, don't get real married to them because we're going to continue to change as this growth happens. So we're just asking for you to be flexible and just understand that things will settle down over time, and we're going to make sure that you know where we are as we move. We do have the First Hill. I have to tell you, it's one of my favorite things as well. The First Hill Farmers Market last day is today. So I am going to ask that you get out and show your support. We want them to come back next year, and we want them to stay a little bit longer. But they're only going to do that if the demand is there. So once this meeting is over, get out there, buy some fruits and vegetables for the weekend, get your beautiful floral decorations, have a snack or buy your dinner. But let's be supportive so that they will return for the next season. And you can see some pictures, some highlights from this year. It was a nice opportunity for me to always run into Horizon House. Both staff and residents utilized it. We've got some bright spots. So it seems a little late. 4th of July seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? However, we want to make sure that everybody knows what we did to celebrate the 4th of July in assisted living. We had a wonderful celebration with arts and crafts during the 4th of July social and art project. You can see the beautiful creations. This was phenomenal. There was also a traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony and tasting on assisted living. Does everybody see the injera and just the delicious coffee? I heard it smelled great in assisted living for several days after this coffee ceremony. And then there was the staff picnic. The luau sounds like it's going to be a blast, but the staff picnic was a lot of fun. Thanks to the committee that put it on. I will say we had great participation, and we had the picnic for every shift, for first through third shift. Um, Andrew, who got up and presented, as well as Brenda, they were our limbo champions, but we had a great time celebrating. All right, I am going to have one last update, and then I am going to pause for a few minutes of Q&A. So in our small group sessions, there was a lot of questions around, when are we going to see some updates to the West Tower? I believe the last update the community had was March. And so there are two opportunities to really get a chance to see all of the new plans and developments. On September 5th at 3 p.m. in Anderson Hall, our architect Methuen will be here to really give some updates to where we're at. Since March, we've had a lot of new, not necessarily new, but just more fleshed out details. And so that will be an opportunity to see what those are. And for those of you who the afternoon doesn't work really well, on September 25th, we're going to have a morning event that's going to also just a repeat of the September 5th, where you'll be able to come and just see what those updates are on the West Tower. And then we also had people asking, what about master planning? And so we want to make sure, because this is the thing that's really going to give our community a lot of bang for its buck around the bistro and assisted living. And so we are going to be having a master planning update in November. So stay tuned for exact date and time when that's going to happen. Probably be in Anderson Hall, right? Thank you, Eli. And so that's coming up. So we just want to make sure people are in the know. We had people ask us about what happened to the model of the West Tower. Well, it is also being updated to reflect, some of the, new things that we've learned and made decisions on along the way. And so stay tuned in the area. It will be coming back. But in the meantime, you have an opportunity near the Terry Avenue entrance to see the updated renderings. There's a poster as well as a comment box. So if you've got something you want to share about what you see, please use the comment box. All right, so I'm going to turn it over to see if anybody has any questions.
Coming.
Thank you, Beth.
I'm Vanna. I'll take a bow.
Just one correction. I was at the farmer's market this morning, and they are going to be open next week on the 1st of September. And I had looked it up on the website because I wasn't sure. If you look up First Hill Farmers Market, it does indicate that they will be open next week on September 1st.
Even better. Thank you so much for that correction. That's great. So how about 2 weeks in a row? We're going to give them a big Horizon House support so they come back next year. All right. Any other questions? Corrections? Good and welfare? All right. Well, happy Friday. Let's head all over to the market.